The following show and its content are the responsibility of the show's producers and participants.
Information related in this program is not meant to substitute medical recommendations. Before starting a treatment program, you should consult your physician.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
So welcome to the Couch Live here on rock100diz.com, wjhm102jams.com, and of course, the Problem Solving Network, WPSN 99. So welcome everybody. Look at that, all these different views. Hello. I know it's a little dark. I haven't got the lighting quite figured out yet, and then my chair just shrunk up. It's romantic lighting. And then, you know, we got this wide angle lens, and in that wide angle, you can see a couple people that are here. Say hi, everybody. Hey. I'm Street Certified Dope Dr. Louis Delgado, along with my co-host right there on the left. That's Trinity Phillips. How you doing, Trinity, the Dharma Guy?
What's going on?
We got our intern, the Grasshopper. Just got us all Robbie Barrett. He flew in from Rollins real quick.
He did. He barely made it, but he made it.
50 minutes from Winter Park.
That's the speed limit, right, though? Like, you were going the speed limit?
It does not sound like he was going speed limit.
Okay.
Does not sound like he was going to speed limit to me. And then, of course, right here, this man right here. Look how dark this angle is. We're going to need to do something with the lighting. But right there, Darryl Strawberry.
The one Hello,
Darryl. Right here. This camera right here, Darryl.
Hey.
Look at that. Hey, I don't have the lights to show you which one is on at the time.
Right. I'm with the Grasshopper.
You are you're in between the Grasshopper and the Dharma Guy. And behind you is Chris from UCF. Hello, Chris.
Hey,
let me get you the right angle. There's Chris over there. Chris, what's your last name? Burns.
Like Mr. Burns, Simpsons.
Like the Simpsons. There you go. All right. So Chris is on with us too, and so we're here at the new Surf Monkey Media Studios, and we're still trying to figure out all the bugs, Trinity.
Yes, we are.
Still trying to figure out all the bugs. Trying to figure out how we're going to do the lighting. The lighting is still not where we want it. For the Facebook part. Radio part, the lighting's perfect.
Yes, it is.
You know, the chair just took a beating today. And so now I have no chair. And so you can just move it a little bit left, Robbie. See this? There you go. Right there.
Oh.
Now you're in frame. And then of course, the sound, like being on WJHM 102 Jams and 102 Jams. WJHM102jams.com and rock100diz.com. So many. There's too many, Darryl.
Too many to remember.
Now,
right?
Yeah, now I got to remember this whole
this
soup.
is radio. This is
Right.
Facebook Live.
Yeah, when it's just one radio station, it's easy,
It's
right?
easy, right? Yeah.
Oh, rock100diz.com. Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
Then
You can roll that
Then we
out.
added WJHM102jams.com. Now we added WPSN99.com. Now I got to remember everything.
Yeah.
Look, I'm going to just start saying we're on a Problem Solving Network here out of the Surf
I
Monkey
like
Media
that.
Studios.
WPSN.
And you'll be
99.
dealing
Right.
with that at night in your sleep.
Man, I'm telling you.
But
Look,
you'll get it down.
yeah?
It's just
Are you a
whatever.
one-take Jake? Are you one of those guys that just...
Not really. I mean,
No.
if I go over it a few times
Right.
in my head, then
Yeah.
I can keep it there.
Yeah, because when you guys do interviews, you just sit there and all of a sudden it's a different bunch of yahoos on radio trying to be funny and asking you the same darn question over and over.
Same old questions.
See, so here's the deal, Darryl. All right, so we've been friends for a little bit now, and so let's just jump right into this. So I'm thinking, all right, so Darryl's coming, right? And I don't prepare for anything, and that's evident in the end of my work. I don't prepare.
You think?
That's good, though.
Hey, I will say, though.
See how they're laughing at me? I don't prepare like I should.
I will
But it's
say,
so much easier to be natural than work.
Of course.
Right.
Because people prepare too much and then they screw up anyway.
If you're looking for formality, you got the wrong group here. But
Right.
I will say, I'm getting text messages. People are listening to us in their car driving, listening to
Right.
WPSN.
Perfect.
So it is working.
And then the app is not even out yet. So, Darryl, there's an app coming and everything, so it's going to be awesome. But what I'm saying is I don't prepare. So to have you, I just want to talk to you. I don't have, like, prepared questions. But I'm thinking, God, here's what I was gonna ask you. Before we finish today, what I want to know is the one question that you wish somebody like me would ever ask you, and never does. Because I gotta believe that when you do that many interviews in your career,
Right.
sometimes you gotta leave and say, why didn't I wanted to say this? I would have rather said this. This is
Right.
important to say. But they never really even asked that question.
Right.
You know, and so in this
They never asked the question of, to me, I would like.
Yeah,
To me,
that's what I'm saying.
I would like the question is,
Right.
what's truly important to you?
Right.
What matters?
Right.
A lot of times they don't. They ask more questions about what I'm doing and everything. They really
Right.
never get to the point of asking questions of what really matters.
Yeah. Like what drives you? Like what
Yeah,
fuels
what
you?
drives you? Yeah.
Right.
What motivates you? What gets you up every day
Right.
to do what you do?
All right, so let's start with some historical context, because just everybody, there goes my, look at that, there goes my chair.
Low riding,
Yeah, I'm low riding, bro.
today.
Not everybody knows the story.
Right.
Okay, so what is the part of the story that people need to know what feeds the fuel? So when we get to the fuel part and to the
Right.
purpose part, what about the story fueled that?
Well, it's the story of broken. Brokenness is real. I think a lot of times people don't realize that people grow up where they come from.
Right.
We always look at what people do
Mhm.
and how successful they are.
Right.
And we could be very successful, just like I was,
Mhm.
because I was driven,
Mhm.
because my pain was real,
Right.
and being broken led me to my greatness.
Right.
But also, my greatness led me to my destructive behavior because of the brokenness.
Right.
And a lot of times people don't ever look at a person because they look at you being successful, and they don't look at you putting a uniform on, or you're a Hollywood star, and you have everything.
Right.
You know, that's what they believe is so important.
Right.
But having everything just covers up what's really going on inside a lot of the times. Because most people that are successful and that have everything, we buy things to make us feel better.
Right.
Because we're hurting inside, we're broken, and we've been pushed to the side. There's a lot of people don't have a healthy home.
Right.
I didn't come out of a healthy home.
Right.
My father was an alcoholic. He beat the living crap out of me. He told me I never amounted nothing. So I went on to believe that the scars are already in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about it a lot, how he came home for the last time, pulled out a shotgun when I was 13 years old, was about to kill the whole family.
Oh, geez.
And me and my brothers went into action.
Wow.
You know, we came this close to killing my father. My mother got us out of the house. My brother grabbed the butcher knife, I grabbed the fire pan, my other brother grabbed the bat. And it could have been a tragedy in my life before I even put on a uniform. So I was already scarred before I even put that on. And that just allowed me to go and be great, because I had the drive that from my father abuse, that I was going to be something. I wanted to show him that I would end up being something. But then I realized from his history, his father, he saw what his father did. So you see the generational curse that happens to people.
Right.
His father, he watched his father. He was the only child. He watched his father beat his mother because his father was an alcoholic.
Right. Now that sounds like a thought process breeded out of forgiveness.
Yes.
That sounds like something you thought about when you were trying to find a way to forgive, or trying to find a way to be at peace with it somehow.
Well, yeah. You try so many ways to be at peace with what happened, because you don't know. And a lot of times, none of us really know what happens to one person.
Right.
How so many are left empty. I mean, you look at all the celebrities that have died from ODN.
Right.
You know, Whitney Houston, Prince. They didn't have to die, and of course, they had everything, but they had nothing.
Yeah, the definition of everything is really relative, right? I mean, because it's what's valuable to me may not be the same value to you.
Yeah, well, it's probably not, because we don't really know a person's story.
Right.
We only see their glory.
Right.
But we have no idea what their story is.
Right.
Everybody has a story.
Right.
And we all come from some place.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a matter of, do we actually deal with our story,
right,
and deal with the pain of what happens in one's life.
Well, and we also all have a different value system. So whereas at one point in your life, the value, if you're broke, you put a lot of value on money. Like that'll save me. That'll change everything. That'll give me everything I want. And then once you have money, all of a sudden the value change. I mean, it has to change, because you realize, wait a minute, I'm still broken. Because I remember having a lot of money, and once I thought, all I need is money, and then I had a lot of money, and it was like, that was even worse, because now I could do anything I wanted.
Yeah, right.
And I wasn't being held accountable because of my money and what came with that, everything that I was doing. And so I was more empty with money. I felt more alone and more isolated from other human beings the more money I had, to be honest.
Yeah, there's no question about it. Because you really don't know who your friends are.
Right. Because everybody's your friend when you have cash.
Well, you think they are.
Yeah.
You know,
They're acquaintances.
This kind of people you associate yourself
Right.
with, you know,
Right.
and they want to hang out
Right.
because, of course, you can go anywhere and
Right.
open up any door.
Right.
Everybody loves a winner.
Yeah, and everybody loves. They pat you on the back.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, you're so great.
Right.
You know, but really deep down inside, they don't
Yeah.
know that you're struggling.
Yeah.
And you have some real rooted issues down there that you need to deal with. I think that's where, for me, that's where alcohol and drugs became a big part, because I wanted to escape from the fact of I could play baseball.
Right.
But I was just a baseball player. Putting on a uniform made me a baseball player. It didn't make me a man.
Right.
It made me a baseball player.
Right.
So I knew how to do that part, but I never had a father figure in my life to show me what a man life is supposed to be like.
But even that, Darryl, how did you even focus on baseball? With that happening, how did you even focus on baseball?
Well, because baseball was so great to me, you know, from watching it, and I was growing up, and I was watching the Dodgers, where I was growing up in LA, and I was watching the Cincinnati Reds back in the days, and I saw this one player, and that's when I realized I really wanted to play baseball, and his name was Pete Rose.
Oh,
I saw him.
Nice.
I saw him hustle, and I saw him. He wasn't multi-talented like most of the players on the field.
He just outworked people.
He just outworked people, and I was like, "That's a baseball player."
Right.
You know, and I was impressed with that, and I said, "I want to play baseball, and I want to play it just like this guy."
Like a Lenny Dykstra kind of.
Yeah, I mean, you looked at his uniform; he was dirty.
He's dirty.
You know, it was
It's Charlie Hustle, man.
Yeah, it was.
So when I grew up, it was more like Lenny Dykstra was my Pete Rose.
Pete Rose, yeah, he was the same way. But
that's funny. Not as great, because Pete Rose is great.
Pete Rose is great. I don't care what anyone has to say about him, what happened.
That's a whole other conversation.
We all got shortcomings, but as far as him as a baseball player, and I saw him play with the Reds, and when you see a guy that take a walk, he walked, but he didn't walk down the first base. He sprinted down the first base.
Right.
So you knew he was very serious about playing baseball.
All the time.
Yeah, all the time. And
nobody loves baseball more than Pete Rose.
No, they couldn't have.
The fact, quick sentence of that, and then, obviously I don't want to derail us, and I'm used to doing that.
Yeah.
But for baseball not to see that is the guy. There's nobody in baseball that's ever loved baseball more than Pete Rose.
No.
To not honor him while he's alive is ridiculous.
It's insane. It's really,
because they will honor him when he's dead. We know it.
Yeah, they one day.
It's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, because politically they're just so selfish. That they won't honor him.
Yeah.
After all he accomplished as a baseball player.
Right.
Regardless, I don't think there's one player in the Hall of Fame that probably walked through there that never had something.
Exactly.
It's going to start being empty if we start going, he said this word, and he acted like this, and he hated these people, and he drank too much, and he did drugs.
There's a little bit of everything.
He hired a hooker, and this guy gambled.
Everybody's got something.
Nobody.
Yeah.
Cooperstown anymore.
It won't be Cooperstown
anymore. It'll be empty.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, this isn't the moral Hall of Fame either. This is the sport Hall of Fame.
Right. Exactly.
Let's just keep it where it's supposed to be.
I think they've punished him long enough. Let them play. But anyway, all right. So you're in baseball. It appears like you have the world, right where you want it.
Yes.
When do you know that you're still broken? The whole time?
Oh, the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time when I got introduced.
You acknowledged it. You were able to.
When I got introduced,
you had that insight.
When I got introduced to cocaine my rookie year, I just wanted to fit in, and I won't go into details, but it was on the back of the plane, as a rookie, and I wanted to fit in because I wanted to feel a part of, and that's what this is. Welcome to the big leagues, and that's what welcomed me to the big leagues. And then I was taken out to the club and shown the nightlife with the girls, and I was like, man, I have arrived.
Yeah.
And that was a life that I lived.
Yeah.
Every year.
Right.
I lived a lie.
Yeah.
Wish I would have known how good I was as a player, or took better care of myself at night. Because I didn't get rest. And, I went on the road every time. I was drinking and chasing women and strip clubs, you name it. I was just in the life because that's what I was. That's what I was shown when I got to the big leagues. But I remember that I got so bad, embedded in it so deep. When I got addicted to amphetamines, it was another level that it took me to. And I just remember when I became that person like that, I remember when all the young players started to come up, I never exposed them to the life that I was in.
Really?
I took them out shopping and bought them clothes. I wanted to show them a different life. I took them to dinner.
You consciously did that.
I did because I didn't want them to get. I really didn't want young players to get screwed up. Because I already knew I was on the road of destructive behavior. And I want these young players to really understand what the big leagues were all about.
See, the compassion was always there.
Yeah,
that love and compassion was always there. That's that third eye. You had that third eye even then.
The third eye, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was looking out for them. I took them out. He goes, well, what are we gonna do? I said, well, I'm gonna take you guys out to dinner, and I'm gonna take you shopping tomorrow. Because I was $1 million player, and I was like, I'm gonna take you shopping. I'm gonna buy you a bunch of clothes and welcome you. This is what the big leagues is all about. And they were like, a lot of them was like so thrilled. They were just like, man, they couldn't believe it that I would take them into the shopping stores and the shoe stores and go get whatever you want, whatever you need.
It's like you were unconsciously like sponsoring them before you even were in the program or like knew anything.
Yeah.
Right.
I just kind of wanted them. I wanted them to know it's good. It's okay to be good up here.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not. Because a lot of times people think you have to fall into what you see other players doing, and I didn't want younger players to fall into what I was doing because I was already locked into it.
Yeah.
Right.
It became a habit of mine. It's just like the great Mickey Mantle said, had he known how good he really was, he'd have took better care of himself.
So when did you know that? When did you know that not only am I broken, but now this is kind of out of control a little bit? When did you know that?
Well, I knew that probably going, my first couple years, because all I did was party.
That's pretty quick.
Yeah.
So that's early on.
That was early on. After my rookie year in 1984 and 85, I was still already on it. 86, I was even crazier because now we get into the winning circle and stuff like that. And, the drinking is just heavy. The amphetamines, I couldn't get off of them. I mean, I had to take them just about my whole career because I got addicted to them.
Right.
So it was just part of what life of playing baseball for me.
And what a lot of people don't know is the support system is not really a support system. There's a lot of yes people at the time problem too, right? Everybody just wants to, be part of that scene with you.
It's a business.
Yeah.
And as long as you're performing like I was,
nobody cares.
Who cares?
Right.
I was performing at the highest level.
Right.
Driving in 100, scoring 100, stealing
Right.
30 bags.
Right.
I was doing it all, even in the midst of being broken.
Right.
Because I had already zoned into what the game was all about.
Right.
If you zone in, players know how to zone in to educate them how good they're going to be in the game, and there's those that are still on the sideline thinking of how good they can be.
Right.
And then I was one of those guys. I'm it.
Right.
I don't matter who I'm facing, as long as I don't have to face Nolan Ryan all the time. I was cool.
You're that guy that every drug user that plays sports thinks they are.
Yeah.
They all think they're the Michael Jordan or the Darryl Strawberry of drug use.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they think, because they did it and excelled, so can I. So like whatever Michael did, people thought they could do. Whatever Darryl did, people think they could do. Iverson, people thought they can go out there and do what he did and do. But it's not the case. There's a lot of guys that you probably ran into that you may have partied with while playing that nobody knows about.
Yeah, well, of course it is. And there's a lot of guys that weren't
able to perform like you did.
Yeah.
Like on game day,
they couldn't perform.
you could suit up and show up just like Babe Ruth could.
A lot of guys couldn't do that.
Right.
It was just they didn't have that drive.
Right.
I remember going out in New York City one night and we played the next day, and I was out all night. And when I came out the club, it was 8 o'clock in the morning. We had a day game. And I had to play. I went to my friend's house, laid down for an hour, jumped up, went to the park, got to the park, popped me a couple of amphetamines, got in the whirlpool. First at bat, boom, hit a bullet in the alley. Triple, sliding to third. My head is throbbing. My teammate sitting over there shaking his head because he knew I just got in.
Right.
He goes, okay, I got back in the dugout. He said, I don't know how you do it.
Well, and I got to admit, I didn't like when you did it either because I was a Phillies and Pirates fan.
Philly? Oh, what's a Philly? Well, we used to beat the Pirates, of course. But the Phillies, you used to crush them too.
I did not like that, Darryl.
Oh, I thought, but we cool.
You and I have had those conversations.
We've had those conversations
on the golf course. But as you can see, I haven't let it all go yet.
Yeah. We got to work on you with that.
We do. I got to forgive you, Darryl.
Let it go. You have to let it go. We're like boys now.
We're like boys now. Our first meeting, I told you, I once hated you. It's Darryl. It's because you can't imagine how many times when you come up to bat.
Us in 90. They got us in 90.
Yeah.
Bobby Bonilla.
Yeah.
Bonds,
The Killer Bees.
Killer Bees. They
did all right.
Yeah, they did all right.
Yeah, but anyway, I will let that go. I promise.
Okay.
All right. So from that comes the passion. Now we know about jailhouse religion. right? That gets talked about a lot, where someone gets arrested, they get incarcerated, and all of a sudden they come out with faith.
Yeah.
So the question is, when did that become so important? Because knowing you, I know how important your faith is to you.
Yeah.
So where along your travels did that become such a big deal and such a driving force for you?
Well, it didn't in the jailhouse.
I understand. I'm just saying.
I was still lost,
Yeah.
When I came out of there, because, I never forget the T-17169.
Right.
The 11 months I spent in Florida State Prison because of addiction.
Right.
So I come out, and I still got struggles. I still haven't overcome it. And, my life didn't really turn the corner until my wife, who's my wife today, Tracy, came into my life. But in South Florida, when me and her met at a Narcotics Anonymous convention, she had 1 year clean. I had 5 seconds clean. Just come back from 5 days smoking crack. And she ran into me, and I told her, I'm really nothing you want to deal with. Because I warned.
Are you saying she 13 stepped you? Is that what you just said?
No. I'm just saying.
I think that's what you just said.
Friends introduced me to her, But I fell in love with her, and then we got involved. And then she was the one pulling me out of dope houses.
Right.
And we always got to remember, other people are always going to be used to help people get to where they need to get to. Right. That's what Helping Hands is about. That's what we're all about, and that's what it's all about. Right. And that's what it was for me. That sign of her coming into my life. It didn't happen immediately, but she was the sign of saying, well, okay, God's got a plan for you. Right. Because I couldn't see it. Yeah. I'm shooting dope, smoking crack. It's like I couldn't. There was no way.
Yeah, it's hard to see from your angle.
There was a fog, and I couldn't see it, and she saw something, and we went on a journey together, and then she started pulling me out of dope houses, and I just kind of wanted to die, and said, "Well, God, just leave me here and let me die." And she goes, "You're just not that lucky."
Yeah, she just wouldn't. She refused to give up on you.
Yeah, and that's what recovery is all about with people. Is people loving people right where they're at. We can love them, but don't tolerate the madness. Because
you don't have to like the behaviors.
Yeah, and I remember the behavior that I had and everything, and she really had to let go of me. I was living with her, staying with her, and I was in a dope house one time, and she came and she had all my clothes. She dumped them right on the lawn in front of the dope house. She said, "I'm done with you. I can't do this with you." And that was just another sign of me not getting well, and then I finally went on the journey and said I need to get it right, And I didn't know if I would ever be back with her or anything like that, but I just remember her playing that important role in my life, just like all of us, that are striving toward recovery. We always have someone plays that important role in our life that it helps us turn that corner because they really care, and that's what it was for me.
Where was your faith in that point? All right, so that's happening. But where's your faith? Are you praying secretly? Yeah. Are you thinking that you're a person of faith at that time, or is it still something that you were fighting?
Well, I knew I was because my mother left us with faith.
Okay. So you were brought up with it.
Yeah, there was a foundation.
Right.
Just straight off and went the other way,
right?
And I had to come back to that. So
it's not a stretch.
Well, what happens there is I leave from Tracy and I go back to stay with my sister and her 3 kids in a 2-bedroom apartment. Right. Great Darryl Strawberry, 8-time All-Star, 4-time World Series champ, millions of dollars. I'm on a journey where I'm $3 million in debt and don't have a driver's license.
Right.
So,
wow.
There's a miracle that is waiting on the other side for us, but we don't know that at the time.
That's a very humbling period.
Yeah, it is. And I went back to California to stay with my sister, and I humbled myself, and I went back to church, and I got involved in. You know what I really did was I got involved in helping others and getting outside of myself. Because so many of us think about ourselves all the time. We just sit around and it's about me.
Yeah.
And I got involved in the church and I started helping others. I started going downtown with the church, downtown to LA, and helping the homeless on the street. So that was. And
that is a homeless population. For people that don't know, that is probably that is the. I mean, I was just in Atlanta the other day, and I was telling these guys that since L.A., that was the worst I've seen.
It is.
Because L.A. is top of the food chain to me as far as like homelessness, and it's just they're accustomed to it. It's like they're not leaving that spot.
They're right there downtown.
Right.
And I started going downtown with the church, and all of a sudden, it started to hit me. For the grace of God, there go I. For the grace of God, there go I. That's who you can be. you got to make a decision what you want to be.
And at that point, you believe it then.
Yeah.
Because you have to. You have to believe that can be you.
Yeah, and it can. And I realized that, and because I was looking at them, not as me being better, as I was looking at them as like, I love these people, and I'm just as lost as they are. So, me going down there to do work helped me get better inside of myself. Because there it is, you're helping somebody else.
Right. It's that service work, man. There's some kind of magic to it.
Yeah, it is.
So it sounds like what you're saying is even when in those last days, or those last years, or however long that was, it sounds like no matter how much you did, then you still didn't feel great.
No, I mean,
like that confidence was not there.
Well,
because if not, when you get high, you'd forget all about trying to help people.
Well, of course, but when you lost, and when you're broken,
right,
it's a process. I think so many people think you're going to be well overnight, and 30 days, 90 days.
Preach that a little bit, because there's a lot of people that do believe that.
Yeah,
they think it's a decision.
Yeah.
Like that.
They think it's, you're going to be well. It's a process, and it wasn't until years that I got better inside.
Right.
Because they had to take a healing process of being hurt and all the damage that I had done to people, because I hurt people too. We forget that we hurt people in the midst of our addiction. Because we always think it's about us. Well, you don't understand me. But what about the kids? What about the ex-wives? You go through people like a tornado, because guess what? Yeah, I'm just like any other addict, selfish, self-centered. Right. It's about me, what I want. Instant gratification. Let me have what I want. And it was a period of time. I had to go through a period of time. I'm talking about years. I had to go to a place where I had to get disciplined, and I had to learn to sit, and I had to learn to help others, and not think it's all about me. Get outside of yourself. Right. And that was the most incredible gift that one can give to himself. When I gave that to myself of helping others, that's when my life really started to shape up and take a different road, because it was no longer about me anymore. Because you know how we are. We really about us. You just don't understand me. To someone out there, help somebody else. Do something different. Get outside of yourself. It makes all the difference. All the difference inside of you when you start doing something like that. And that's what I started doing. I started caring for others, and that's been my biggest thing. My biggest urgency. I get up every day is because I care for others so much now. And my life will, your life will change. Your life will keep changing when you're caring about others, and that's why I'm here.
That's what and that's really is your mission. This is not just talking. Everything I've seen you do, everything that we ever talk about, it's like everything is involving you speaking to other people, sharing your story, and being brutally honest.
Yes.
Because you don't have to be.
No.
There's a lot of people out there that have been broken and have gotten better, and yet they're still living in that anonymity.
Oh, yeah.
You've chosen to be open with it, which one can say, well, it's because ESPN already broke that story a long time ago. Yeah, but you could still... You can still be anonymous. There's people out there that ESPN and TMZ broke stories, and they're still kind of just blowing it off and then doing something else.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't want to be a fake.
Right.
I don't want to hide behind a fake glass
like you were your entire life.
Yeah,
before.
Playing ball, and like I have it. I got it because I got it all together now.
Right.
And I think that's what the message. The message is so strong for us to carry to help someone else that's still suffering.
Right.
How can we help them if they don't know about your story?
Right.
They will, maybe he had problems, but I'm so afraid because I don't want to be judged by what the public is going to say about me. Guess what? They're going to talk about you anyway.
Right.
So what difference does it make?
Right.
So might as well go out there and tell people, you know what? I was broken, and you bring hope to people. And that's what people need today.
Right.
We're in a desperate time where people really need hope, and we need to be able to be a person to go out there and say, you know what, I was in that pit too,
right?
But you can get out of that pit, and you can start showing people how you can get out of the pit. And I notice how so many people that struggle with addiction, and when I go talk, they listen because I don't try to sugarcoat it,
right?
Because I tell them I was a liar, cheater, I was a womanizer, I was alcoholic, drug addict. I was a sinner. I was all and above. Now, if I could be changed, there's hope for you.
Right. And this is a good time to bring Chris in. Chris, do you mind coming right here to this corner right here? Can we just make a little tiny space for him, just right there? You come all the way to the corner. Move that pillow. You don't need that pillow there. And the reason I want to bring Chris in is because what you're talking about right now, there's over 140 people dying every day.
Yes.
Due to overdoses right now.
Right.
Right. And Chris is over there at UCF, one of the largest universities in the United States. My alma mater.
Yeah, man.
UCF. So I love UCF. But when you hear this, like we talk about stigma, we talk about anonymity. Where does a person like Darryl fit in to like the stuff that like UCF is doing in regards to Strike the Stigma? This month you're kicking off the Strike the Stigma campaign.
Right, yeah.
Where does that fit in? That somebody of this magnitude, an A-list, you are an A-list celebrity. Right. To have an A-list celebrity choose to not be anonymous is a big deal.
It's huge.
So what does that do for breaking the stigma?
I think it does a ton for breaking the stigma. I mean, it's the hardest thing is that and I deal with students that are coming from treatment, right, and that are showing up at UCF, and they go, "Yeah, it's great." I mean, I've had the exact conversation. "Yeah, it's great, CRC, that's awesome, but I want to go get a job at Lockheed, so I don't want anyone to know about it, right? Or I want to get, they want to get employed, right? They want to finish school. They want to finish school. They want to get employed. They want to do that, and there's this fear of like, is this actually safe, right? Is it actually safe for me to come out and say I'm in recovery, right? Because it kind of feels like you're getting told one thing and then maybe there's not, right? And it comes from everywhere. It comes from, there'll be teachers who'll be like, "Hey, you don't want to tell anybody that, though." You know what I mean? There'll be doctors who'll be like, "Hey, you don't want to tell anybody because then they'll think you're pill seeking, and so don't put that in there." So there's this just unbelievable.
Or even your own family members,
right? And so who can I? Because then there's this piece where we go, well. But I know though. I remember the old guy, and if that guy ever shows up again, right? So there isn't the forgiveness really, or there's just I'm going to remember and hang on to this for my own protection and do that. And so it's really hard to create a safe environment for students to go, no, I need a room of me too's, right? I need to walk into a room and go, yeah, you guys all struggle with this too, yeah, me too, right? And then to feel safe in that. And even in that, there's a lot of students who go, yeah, I want to be known about. Right, and there's other students who go, "Well, I want the anonymity because I can't trust the world. the world's gonna embrace it, right?
Right.
And you're seeing that now with the opiate crisis, right? You're seeing that we're not like if this was happening with literally anything else, it would be 24-hour news. CNN would be covering it. It would be nonstop.
Right.
We're not hearing about it because people at the end of the day go, "Well, didn't they kind of do it to themselves?"
It's a choice.
You know what I mean, right? So that's that. It comes back to that deeper piece of the preconceived bias of what people are talking about. And so one of the things I love is that, and you've met Dr. Tom Hall over at UCF, and he talks about this sober privilege, right? That people are just...
Which he said I can take that name, by the way.
That's good. That's good.
He gave it to me last night.
I hope he knows what he did on that.
He gave me the name last night.
It's probably already a website.
I own it now.
But he's right about it. You know, and we talk about that. Like, so there's a Chili's in the student union, right? And there's students walking in and out, no problem. Well, if you're early in recovery, man, you might have to walk around the union because there's 2 for 1. You don't want to even walk past it, right? And that's just a blind spot that no one else even sees. And so, so if you're young in recovery and you show up at UCF and your roommate drinks, good luck, right?
So hard.
I mean, how are you gonna? And then it's tragically uncool, right, to be 18 to 22-year-old and go, I can't go to the tailgate because I got to go work steps with my sponsor. Right. And so unless you're at that place and you're early on where you go, man, this is what it's all about, cool. But early on, man, like if you don't have like a network of students to go, like you too, okay, me too, cool, all right. And that's what Sober Nights is all about, and that's what the Strike Through Stigma thing is big. We're actually showing the anonymous people out there outside.
Greg Williams' movie.
You know, and we're going to show that outside. It's the culmination of the end of Recovery Month, right there in front of the reflection pond, right in front of Milligan Hall, outside, showing it. Right? Like here it is. If everyone in recovery stood up and said, "Hey, I'm in recovery," it's everybody. You know? And so I think it's tough for students to engage in and then to focus on academics, right? Because they're there to get a degree, to maintain their recovery while they're earning their degree. And if they can't even focus on that because they're so worried about like, well, man, is anyone in my class? And then, someone could say something in class, "Oh, well, what about this guy? You see this on the news?" And then everyone laughs, right? People don't guard their chuckles over that kind of stuff, right? So everyone kind of shows their hand what they actually believe about addiction and recovery. And then that student's in recovery sitting in that class going, okay, you all just told me this isn't safe. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I'm getting that every day in every class that I'm in. Right. And so then, so what I'm so proud about is that like UCF is going, no, we're for this, right? So here's the collegiate recovery community. Right. Here's where you can go. Here's where you can be known. And you can actually be known. And if you can be known, and then the service piece, and you can be needed, right? Like you actually go and do service projects. Right. man, like then that's a college experience for them, right? Because they're being totally denied the college experience and going and doing that.
You brought up safety, so let's touch on that a little bit because universities love to talk about safe space.
Right.
Safe spaces.
Right.
We hear a lot about it. Everybody's getting a little
I
smirk. You don't know where I'm going with this.
I know.
Right, so here's where I'm going.
Not in Berkeley, though.
It's safer. And I'm not. Don't get mad at me. Don't send me emails, letters, or anything. And if you do, just go ahead. All right, forget it. But it's almost safer. And you can disagree. Everybody in here, if you want to disagree, feel free to disagree. It's almost safer if I was transgender and out. And I have no issue with it. I have no issue with what you want to do. Whether you want to be this gender, that gender, I can care less. But the point is, it's safe for you to be the transgender in a university than to say I have a heroin problem at a university.
Right.
It seems like there's more of a community that's willing to come out and help you if it's some sort of sexual identity or cultural issue. You know, I'm too much of this shade or too much of this shade, or I come from this country, or I come from this country, or have this sexual preference. But as soon as you say I have this disease of addiction, it's not a safe place anymore.
Right.
So how does a university address the fact? How do you make it a safe place for a person that's having a drug problem open up and say I have a drug problem?
Right. I think the first thing is doing something like this, right? The fact that we have this campaign, we're standing up, we're saying it, right? I mean, that's a little thing, but we're starting, right? So that's kind of the baby steps towards it.
All right.
I think the other piece is, what's sad about that is there are many students that are transgender, struggling with maybe that, or I don't know, some people aren't struggling, right?
Right.
To use that word is to say there are many people in that population that have a drug issue as well.
Well, and the only reason I brought that up is because it's one of the, it's a very controversial extreme.
Right, and I guess the thing is to say, and why we're showing the anonymous people is because students in recovery and anyone in recovery is actually the most closeted population in the country. Right, so if we could take a cue from that, and go, hey, look,
that's my point.
And that's what anonymous people is all about. Right, that movie is basically like everyone step up and say it. Yeah. Right, so then when you then step up and say that, man, I go, dude, all right, I'm with Darryl. Right. And just personally, I mean, literally, your poster was on my wall as a kid, growing up loving baseball. I was the Bash Brothers in Open A's, right? But man, I played on the Mets in Little League, so I had your poster on my wall. I was like, dude, Darryl Strawberry.
Wait a minute, you didn't have Farrah Fawcett on the wall? No, you had Darryl Strawberry on the wall?
There you go.
It was the.
All
right, I gotta admit, I did have Farrah.
It was.
Well, I like what
and AC/DC.
I like what he's talking about, you know, and for the students and the kids, standing up takes courage.
Yeah.
Because if we don't stand, we fall for anything. You know, and we can't, and we got to get them to start standing and stop worrying about what others think. You know, because when we're worried about what others think, it keeps us in our closet and keeps us from getting well.
Sure.
And it allows them to isolate themselves. Just because you have an alcohol drug problem doesn't mean your life doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what we got to get past. That's the stigma we got to get past, because that's what it was before too. But me, why I wouldn't really want. Mine was public, you know, and they just threw me out there, and everybody was like, "Oh, well, you're weak. You know, you shouldn't do. You're not supposed to be drunk." They, you know, they just persecuted me on it. And but look at today,
right?
You know, and this is what I want for the kids to understand. I want them to know it's okay. You know, being in sobriety and living a sober life is cool.
Right.
You know, we got to get our kids to understand that it is really cool to be able to live this life, and you don't have to no longer live, especially like young girls that be on the college campuses. They end up in bad situations, and guys take advantage of them and stuff like that. They never have to go. They never have to be harmed anymore. You know, and that's what they got to look at. That's what people got to look at, and guys got to look at too. I don't have to be stupid anymore, making stupid decisions, you know. And there's so many of them around here making them right in front of me. Why? Because they were drunk,
right?
You know, or they got addicted to this and they got addicted to that. And
but you bring up another thing. All right, so you say it's cool.
Yes.
All right, so here's another thing that could be controversial a little bit on a college campus. Is it cool on a college campus to be a person of faith and be proud about it? Or does that now also, is there now a stigma towards people that are very strong about it? Because I'm one of those people, even though I may not be identifiable as a Catholic, but I was raised Catholic, right? But what I've come across in recovery is I've learned to appreciate all cultures and creeds, right? Sure. Including all religions.
Right.
So even if you would call me every day and sell me on your particular church, I'm not going to get upset with you.
Right.
Because all you're doing is you're just trying to help me.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, I know that that's your calling, and you feel compelled to do that,
Right.
and so I don't get offended about that. However, there's a lot of people who consider themselves very educated and are very educated, book-wise.
Right. But they're educated stupid. Let's just put it there, because anybody as human beings with our right mind, if we're educated enough inside, we know it's not for us to judge anyone.
Right.
But they do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because they're educated stupid. You know, they're book-wise educated. And,
correct. That's what I was saying. Yeah.
They've been trained another way that they're better than.
Right.
And what we got to get people to understand, and young people on the college campus, no one is better than anyone, no matter what kind of problem you end up with. You know, I'm a living example for that. I lived a lifestyle of fame and fortune. I could have considered myself better than, you know, the next person. Right. But I'm just as all my friends are in recovery, who are all come from the same place I come from. Right. You know, addiction. Right. Those are the people I love more than just running around with people. Right. Just because they think they're so educated about life.
Which is why I'm saying what I'm saying, because the problem with it not being safe for young Christian kids or people of real strong faith. Now, if there's faith in other thing other than Christian, it's safe on a college campus. But if there are Christians on a campus, it almost created Liberty University. Like Liberty University has been created by people needing a safe place for them to be outwardly Christian, it seems like. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Don't you think?
Yeah, and I think that they're, to use some church words, right? Like everyone evangelizes. Right. People evangelize for Apple products. Yeah. People evangelize the things they love. Right. Yeah. And so what we need is students to step up that are evangelizing recovery. Right. That are essentially stepping up and going, look,
where's our Liberty University? Is what I'm saying.
Whatever faith community it is, wherever you land, where can I be and actually share that? Right. And not feel like, oh, okay, but you need to wear a tinfoil hat because I know what you believe. Right? Because then we're all judging, like I'm judging you for being judgy. Yeah. So like figure that out. Right.
Yeah. and I think that's, look, college is that age where you're kind of figuring yourself out, right? You're kind of learning who you are, you're learning what the world's about and how it responds to you. But for universities to kind of further concrete certain thought processes and not let them speak out, regardless of what it is, I don't care how left you are or how right you are. A college university is a place where you should be allowed to speak any of it, right? Yeah. You should be allowed to be any of it. Sure. And so that's why I like so much that UCF kind of throws, at least on this matter, because at the end of the day, UCF is still a business, and trust me, I'm sure there's a lot of issues that they're not so open about. But at least on this matter, they've now started to open up a little bit more. What were you going to say, Darryl?
I was going to say, and also with the kids, hopefully one day I get a chance to go speak to them and remind them, with their being on the college campus, I always remind my own kids, you only got 4 years here. Then you got to walk into real life. Right. Sometimes they think this is going to last forever. Right. And we always got to remind them that this does not last forever. What's said here and what goes on here, when you walk off of here, you're going to forget all of it anyway. And that's so important for them to grab a hold of those that are, in faith, Christians in faith and run with their faith, and those that are struggling and trying to find recovery. Right. I would encourage them to find recovery right now while they got a chance on the college campus. Right. Yeah. Because after they walk off, because it's a real life out there. They're going to have to face real
get real busy.
Yeah, it's going to get busy for them.
Get real busy.
Yeah, this is actually the easiest, the most controlled environment these 4 years. And you're like, oh, I'm so busy. And I'm like, I'm sorry, you're busy with your, no job and no kids and your college and everything.
Hey, but I'll take my busy over their busy any day, brother. What were you going to say, Robbie?
No, I was going to say, like, going back to what Darryl said about, having fun in recovery. I think there's this, this huge stigma, especially for, myself being a junior in college, right in the middle of it. Right. That when I tell my friends that I'm in recovery, people that aren't in recovery, it's like
you're boring.
No, not that I'm boring, but I almost elicit this response like, "Oh, like I'm sorry,
you're missing out.
Like I'm sorry you're recovering." It's like no. I lived that life, but I lived it way too hard and way too fast for too many years since I was 13.
I lived it for all of you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. But
I took the sword.
I do get this kind of thing, like in college. Rollins has a very small recovery community. Like I used to go to the one meeting on campus, and there was one other student that was in and out.
Sure.
But it's like people think that you can't have fun in recovery, and part of that's the anonymity. Like being like, if people aren't out there like showing the fun they have, then how are people gonna? It's like people imagine these AA meetings like old people drinking coffee and smoking cigarettes.
No windows.
Well, because every movie with AA, they are drinking coffee and
stand up
smoking
like
cigarettes.
Michael Keaton at the end of Clean and Sober and give that speech.
Right.
The other thing that I think that it needs to be touched on too, is I'm not sure, I don't know if you're in recovery or not, but as somebody who's not in recovery, I think that a lot of people don't understand. You mentioned transgender. Right. I see a lot of gay pride marches and things of that nature. People who are heterosexual standing up for the rights of gay people. I don't think people understand you don't have to be in recovery to stand up for somebody who is in recovery or for the idea of. Right. And I think that's where it could start. If you just have good old-fashioned compassion for your next human being.
Right.
You see stories online, or like I'll use Darryl as an example, right? People I know of who heard he was going to be on the show. I get so tired of hearing adults, people who are old enough to see him play, say like, "Oh, that's a shame," or a waste of talent.
Right.
I'm sorry. When he was, hold on. Some of them would say that what he did on the baseball field was great. You know what I mean? I'm not a huge baseball. Sorry, I'm not a big baseball fan. I watched some of it. But I think that what you're doing now touches more lives than you did before.
Oh, most
so
definitely.
How are you going to say it's a shame when he's actually more productive now than he was then?
Right.
Yeah.
And so stop looking at it as a bad thing or as a shame. Like you said, like, oh, I'm sorry in recovery. Like, good for you, you're in recovery. Like, you're making more sound, clear decisions than a lot of other people are at the moment.
Right.
And so I think that's what a lot of people need to understand is you don't have to be in recovery to champion this cause.
Let me tell you something. You're hitting more home runs now.
Exactly.
Than you ever did before.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm going to give you an example. I was listening to, now that we're on WPSN99.com.
Nice segue.
It's it's always playing, right? It's always playing. I told you this last night. I was going to a dinner, and I'm listening, and it was a show that you guys did when I was in Aruba.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I heard the show. I really thought I heard the show, but I must have been doing other things while I was listening to the show in replay. Before, but I was just driving, so I was really listening to the show, right? Because I was enjoying it as a listener, because I'm not on the show.
Sure.
And you guys were talking, and you were talking about me making fun, and then making me get upset. That's all right. No, it was good stuff. But some of the, but I guess why I'm saying that is because you said some things, Trinity, that really touched me. That you never shared with me personally about, not knowing this side of it, not knowing addicts until you knew another guy and me and stuff like that. And you reminded me of how many lives we actually affect and don't even know how we're affecting those lives. Yeah. And I guess that's what you're saying to Darryl as well. It's the same thing you were saying on the show, which is right now when you get up and you speak to large crowds. But by the way, I don't know if a lot of people even know what you do. So we'll talk a little bit about that, about some of the ministry that you do and how you speak and where you speak, because they need to know that they can come out that they can bring you out to see. But when you speak to all those masses, that's got to be so overwhelmingly, powerful inside for you to not only keep what you have, but know that everything that I went through now matters.
Yeah, it's greater than playing baseball because it's real life, real people.
Right.
Baseball is just a game, and people are gonna cheer for you when you hit home runs. They're gonna boo when you strike out. Right. But people are on the edge of the seat now to hear that you've been redeemed and restored to be able to bring about hope to people, and that's the whole thing about all of us in life is, and what you guys do, is the impact that you have is bringing hope to people. Yeah, you're gonna have your critics; they're gonna always have something to say, blah 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 blah. And because they're not doing it. And the thing is what we get out there and do, like you're doing on the campus for kids. You're doing it.
Right.
That's all that really matters. Keep doing it.
Right.
No matter what anyone has to say, because it's having an impact. Because people need help, and we need to be a voice. We need to be able to be out there and encourage them. And that's why I was talking about my new book coming up. It's to encourage people. It's the book. Don't give up on me.
There it is.
It's a book with me talking about addiction. It's with doctors, and they're talking about what the brain is in addiction and what happens to a person and how a person ends up affected. It's shedding light on addiction.com. Yeah, you can turn it on the back, and all they need to do is go there, and you'll see, and it'll help you. It's a read that will help you from a person who had everything but was broken because of addiction. Broke me inside, which it does to all of us. It breaks you more than anything else. But for us to get out of the grips of it and have a message, and all of us that are here, and even you that are here, we need to carry the message for someone else.
Right.
You know, and that's what it's all about. You know, people are going to talk about us, and they say I was a loss and, you know, lost career. You know,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's about saving lives. It's not about saving a game anymore today. This is about saving lives.
This is the real game.
Yeah, this is the real game that we're in.
The real game.
You know, that's
I care way more about this than a home run.
Yeah,
like, I'm just gonna be honest, man.
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, things like this, and this comes out October 16th. Great date you picked, by the way. It's my birthday. Yeah, that's right.
We're gonna celebrate.
We're gonna celebrate.
We're gonna buy you a book, brother.
Yay! So, you know, this "Don't Give Up on Me" is the name of the book, and so you tell your story, you tell your passion, you talk about the ministry.
Well, no, I talk about addiction.
Okay.
It's about addiction. I've already wrote my life story in Straw, but this is about addiction.
Oh, that's right. That other book's already out. So.
Yeah, this is about what has happened across America and why people need not to be ashamed.
I like that.
You know, it talks about me and my addiction and my struggle, and it talks with doctors that interviewed me because they wanted to get inside and find out what happened. Because something happens to us to pick up a drink or drug. We just don't all of a sudden wake up one day, I'm going to be a addict, I'm going to smoke crack, I'm going to shoot dope.
More importantly, not to pick it up, but something happens to us that makes it difficult to put it down.
Right.
Because a lot of people pick it up, but if they don't have the trauma to couple with it, it doesn't grab them as much. It doesn't hijack the brain the same way. But when you have trauma, you have depression, you have anxiety, you have a sleep disorder, you have something else going on. Additionally, it really sets in quick.
And it's also those people that pick it up and there's a loneliness, emptiness inside.
Right.
And it drowns them. You know, the feeling of drinking drowns you. The feeling of using drugs drowns you, and it allows you not to feel, and you can escape from that because that's what it does. That's why I picked it up. I mean, when I picked it up, I started drinking and smoking marijuana at the age of 13, 14 years old, and it altered me just like that.
Right.
And it worked.
Yes.
For a while.
And it worked.
Yeah. And then, you know, it's that marijuana maintenance I went on. And what they talk about, guess what? That marijuana maintenance led me to crack and shooting dope later on in my life. You know, it's just like...
That medicine?
Yes.
John Picciano wrote this book with you?
Yeah.
John Picciano from Darryl Strawberry Recovery Center.
John Picciano and the Dr. Millers, and he put all the doctors together, Ron Dark, and we decided we needed to do a book about addiction.
All right.
That really speaks to help people and to show that people can recover. No matter.
We definitely look forward to this, Darryl. This is awesome. So you can go to sheddinglightonaddiction.com.
Yes.
And can you order in advance? Like, can you?
Yeah, you can pre-order.
So sheddinglightonaddiction.com. That's sheddinglightonaddiction.com. See it right there? Oops, there it is. For the Facebook Live people, you can order it right now. $18.95 on paperback. Maybe we can sell it from the website too. So I appreciate you, Darryl.
Oh,
you know, you've always been a really great friend, and more importantly, because of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we said, this means a hell of a lot more.
That's all of us.
You know,
too. That's why that's why we like we are.
Yeah, man.
You know?
Yeah, I'm with that.
Come from
Thank
the
you.
same cut, you know?
Thank you. And Chris, so you're kicking off this month.
Yeah.
We're kicking it off. We're going to Couch Live on Campus is next week.
This is kind of kicking it off.
This is kicking it off. Because today is September 1.
Yeah.
Right on. So next week, we're actually going to be out there on Thursday. We're not going to do the Friday show. We're going to do it on Thursday and then replay it on Friday.
Right.
Because we're going to be the Couch Live on Campus, right there. That same couch that you're on.
Great. This is it, man.
Unless you can give me another one out there, because if not, Trinity and Robbie are going to be picking that couch up.
I get like that. I get to use it.
It's a cool couch.
Get to stretch out on it.
Nice, man.
It's for the power.
And so we'll be out there at the UCF on campus September 7th. And you have some other events happening?
Yeah, we do. In fact, you can find all of them. It's studenthealth.ucf.edu/CRC.
Okay.
I've got some cards and stuff with us. But
Perfect.
the best, easiest thing is just if you just Google UCF CRC,
right.
all that stuff will come up.
Okay.
And it culminates with that final event. We also have a celebration night that we're starting on a Thursday.
Right.
It'll be every third Thursday moving forward after that, where we are just celebrating everyone in recovery.
And just so you know, Darryl would have been out there with me, when we do the show with us on the show, but he's out of town. He's doing a lot of that ministry work. He's going to be in Cali.
Yeah.
He goes to California a lot. But
I'm going to get out there one day on the campus.
Yeah, we'll get him out there. We'll go out there.
That'd be awesome.
It's important.
We'll set something up.
You'll see tonight we're gonna we've got a little promo video and stuff that'll go out on our social media and stuff to kind of launch everything for Recovery Month. And we're trying to get that Strike Through Stigma as the hashtag and stuff moving forward.
Well, it starts with taking a look at that anonymity thing. So that's why I especially appreciate my friends in recovery that are not anonymous. Right. Especially if they're, like you, Darryl, that has a face and a name to go with it. It helps.
And we know they're there. Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We definitely know they're there. I'm just not allowed to out any of them.
Well, yeah. That's the stigma, right?
Oh, they need to speak out.
They need to out themselves, and then I don't have to do it. Right. All right, Trinity, do we have anything that we need to talk about before we leave?
I would say that the new website is up, WPSN99.com. Go check it out. Right. You can stream us live from the car if you can't make it to Facebook Live, obviously. We have shows constantly streaming, replaying, so go check it out. Let us know what you think.
Any birthdays or anything like that?
I didn't see any, no.
What is it, September 1?
It is.
National Recovery Month, man.
That's right, and it was a National Overdose Awareness Day yesterday. And September 17th is Dana's birthday, my wife. We've now been together 28 years.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
As of October 20. Yeah, congratulations to her. How crazy is that? I mean, wow, her. How did she do that? Right? So anyway, and then we have the Recovery Walk coming up.
Yep.
September 16th in Orange County. So please go to Eventbrite and sign up for the Recovery Walk. Step in the name of love. It's on Saturday, September 16th.
My birthday's in September.
What day?
September 20th, I'll be 38, and September 18th will be my 5-year recovery anniversary.
Nice. So this is a big day for you.
September, man.
Yeah. See, mine is all of October. October 16th is my sober date and my birthday.
There you go.
29 years in October.
Wow.
October 16th, man. So
we
definitely get.
The what? Be safe. Labor Day is coming up.
Yeah, be safe. And
4-day weekend. Try to be safe.
And our hearts and prayers out to everybody in Houston and all the Texas people.
Yep.
But it's another example. And I don't want to diminish anything in Texas and this thing, but it's another example where we had 40 dead there, but we have 140 dead. 140 dying today of overdose. 140 dying today. So please, we know how to step up in a tragedy. It's very evident because look at all the love and support that we're able to give to Houston and the people of Texas. And we understand that kind of crisis.
Mm-hmm.
Human beings are great in these types of crises, but we're not good in addiction type of crisis.
Right. We are drowning.
We're not good with knowing how to do that. So from everybody here on the Couch Live, we appreciate you. We love you. And again, thank you very much, Darryl. Thank you very much, Chris. Adios, amigos. It's time for a taco. Goodbye.